Your mind is either your greatest weapon or it's the biggest enemy. Most men are stuck, not because of their potential, but because of their programming. And if you don't rewire what's running the show behind the scenes, that mind, your unconscious mind, you will keep repeating the same patterns no matter how hard you try. So if you want to break free from your limitations, if you want to break the cycle, if you want to reprogram your mind for greater success, and you want to reprogram and rewire your mind to be greater, then this is the video that you need. Hey guys, it's Brendon, and rewiring my mind has been the single most important factor to get me to where I am right now. And I can tell you with certainty, with every single man that's come into our programs, our number one thing we need to rewire their programming, rewire their mind, change the way they think and view themselves and the world, and everything else changes. Literally, our life is created by the beliefs that we have and the mindset that we have towards life. Nothing else. When you change, the world around you changes. And it's so simple, but most people don't understand this, and they still like to think that it's the external world. Let me just give you a little analogy. If you wanted to shave your face and you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't try and reach out and shave the face of your reflection in the mirror. No, that's the same as what people do in life. They see the reflection and they try and change the external world. But what happens if you shave your own face? You're looking at the reflection, and the reflection changes after you change. And so that is a very simple example, but that is what happens in life. When you change, the world around you changes. So if you don't like something externally, it's a result of what's going on inside of you. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how and what to do, and actually give you a step-by-step process on how you can rewire your beliefs. But first, I want you to understand that you're operating from old programming. Most people have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple events that are quite traumatic. Now, they could be little t or big T. Traumatic can be quite, for a kid, falling over and everyone laughing at them, or not getting picked up on time from their parents in primary school. That can be quite traumatic for a kid. So we're not saying trauma as like super trauma. It could just be like a micro trauma. And so there was some big events that probably happened that you might not even be conscious of that shape a lot. And for me, I was doing a speech in grade 5, and I used to love fishing back then. And so we had to do this talk. It was about a 2-minute talk. And my talk, or my speech, was on how to tie a fishing line. And so I brought in my fishing gear and everything, and my fishing rod, and I was standing in front of the class showing everyone how to do it. But I was so nervous, I was shaking that much that I couldn't tie the line. I couldn't get the line in, because you know how thin fishing line is. And so that just fueled so much. So I was like trying to tie this line, and I couldn't, and I was getting even more nervous because I was focusing on what I was shaking and how much I was shaking, and it was just such I can remember being there, and it was like such a traumatic experience for me. People were looking at me, I'd look around, trying to do this, I was getting more nervous, I was shaking, I was fearful, I was anxious, like all those emotions. And it was a big event that shaped so much for me in terms of belief-wise. I was like, I'm never gonna put myself out there in front of people. Like, a big fear of people come from that event, a big fear of being seen, not liking public speaking, not liking speaking in front of groups, not liking people looking at me. So much came out of that one little event, and it seems like it's not really much, but it was all stored in my unconscious and my nervous system. It wasn't until I released that made a big difference. So we all have this old programming, and it can be from super young too. You know, you could be learning to walk when you're a kid. You could even be a kid, and there's multiple times when I've seen kids, and we've gone back to times we've taken clients and guys who are in our programs, they've gone back to times when they were like a baby and they were experiencing emotions because they didn't get treated the way they wanted to, or their mum didn't do anything. They didn't really have their conscious mind, right? But all these little things happen, and we make it mean something. It sounds a bit strange, but that's where all these blockages are stored. So if you don't have the life that you want, there's blockages inside your programming that could have been created at any point in time. From the 3rd trimester of us being born, that's when the programming starts. So you're not even born yet, and you're starting to be programmed by your environment. Think about that for a second. And so this is why we don't get the things that we want in our life. Now, from that experience that I went through and all of the work that I do, what I learned is, from childhood to now, you have absorbed beliefs. You've absorbed patterns, you've picked up patterns and fears that run your daily decisions. And this is why you choose to do this and not this. It's all fueled by these past experiences. And so to succeed in any area of life, you must identify and replace the unconscious code that keeps you stuck, which is pretty much just like a program. It's like a big computer that's got a code that just keeps running. And until we unplug that code, that belief system, and that programming, you're gonna just keep getting the same thing you've always done. The beliefs we hold are not our own. They are simply the thoughts we've repeatedly thought over and over again. So if you want to change your mind, you'd have to be aware of the programming that you have. And this leads me to the tool that I want to give you, the empowerment grid, a way to rewire your beliefs. Now, you can't pull out the core of some of these smaller beliefs, right? So in a lot of the work that we do, there might be a belief I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or any type of belief, I don't deserve this, whatever belief might have. We can go back and those bigger beliefs, we can pull out the core issue, like when was this created? How old were you? What started this? When did the root cause of this belief start? We can go back and we can go back in time and heal and release and neutralize that. But some of these smaller beliefs, it's harder to do that. You know, and so sometimes you may be wanting to do this and it's like, I'm not as good as that person, or I can't do this, or you know, just little thoughts like that. They're all beliefs, because a belief is nothing but a decision. So if we understand that beliefs are nothing but a decision, then we just need to make a new decision to rewire that belief and then find all the evidence of how it's true, because it is true. We're just not aware of it. Everything's been created twice. We've got law of polarity, which means that there's one side and there's the other. You can't have one without the other. You can't have hot without cold. You can't have up without down. You can't have positive with negative. So you can't have a limiting belief with a empowering belief. You have both at the same time. We're just not conscious of them. So this is a really good tool to use on those smaller beliefs that you may not even be aware of. And most men operate from a limitation-based beliefs, like I'm not enough or I always fail, but the empowerment grid helps you flip those beliefs into power-based programming. It's your tool that you get to use to upgrade your identity and to shift into the man who wins. Now, I can tell you now that if you're watching this, probably a very small portion of people will actually do this. It's just the way it goes because it's work. But I can tell you now, until you actually do it, you'll go, wow, I didn't realize how powerful this was. And if you just keep doing it and make it daily or multiple times a week a habit, you will be a completely different person in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days time. So what is there's 4 steps to this empowerment grid. And so step number 1, you've got to find what the limiting belief is. So I want you to think about something that you want to achieve in your life, or something that you want. So let's just use the example of wanting to make more money. Like you might even think making money is hard, or that it's easy for other people but not for me, or I don't know how to do it, or anything like that. So those are all little beliefs that you've made. So let's just pick making money is easy. Sorry, making money is hard. So that's the first limiting belief. So that's the first question. The second question is, what's the new empowering belief? And generally it's the opposite. So instead of making money is hard, making money is easy. Now that might feel super untrue for you. You'd be like, no, it's not. This is where the power of this comes. So that's in column 2. Now column 3, or the third question, is what evidence do you have to prove that's true? Essentially, how is that empowering statement true? So money is easy to make. How is that true for you? And you've got to look for the evidence. Where is the evidence to show you that that's true? And this is where you're starting to make new neural networks, and it takes time. There's going to be a barrier that you've got to work through. But what you look for is what you find. What you seek, you will find. So you just have to spend more time with it and make a big list until you get to a point of like, wow, it actually is. When have you received a refund? When have you received just free money? Or when have you won something? When have you been given a pay rise? You know how easy, like literally you go to work and you get paid, if that's what happens. If you own a business, like sometimes you don't even have to do anything. You've just built systems that do it for you. Like money is so easy to make if you understand it and if you rewire it like this. Now, if you believe that it's hard to make, your reality is going to reflect that back to you. If you believe it's easy to make, your reality is going to reflect that back to you. So you get to choose. So why not? People fight so hard for their limitations. Don't be attached to them. Let them go and fight for your new empowered belief. So keep going, keep going. If you need to, ask ChatGPT for some prompts to help you. Ask ChatGPT, like, I want to find how this is true for me. Can you give me some prompting questions to help me find the answers? And just keep writing, keep writing. Whenever I do these empowerment grids, I try and get 50 reasons. And I can tell you by the time I get to 50, I feel lighter. And it may be one or two that I really go, wow, like that, I didn't know that it was there. And then afterwards I read it over again, and then the next few days, what you'll actually find is you're starting to look for it because it triggers your RAS, which if you don't know what that is, it's your reticular activating system, which focuses on what you want. So the RAS only takes in 10% of reality. So there's 90% that we don't see, and the 90% that you don't see is where this belief of money is easy to make lives. Now, if we set our mind on a mission, the RAS, and look for it, we're gonna find it. So we've got to use that to our advantage. So just keep writing, keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, maybe you've experienced it, but maybe also other people. Like, have you seen stories of other people making money? Like, I see a lot of friends who are doing crypto trading at the moment. And to me, I'm like, wow, that seems so easy for them. There's a one way. So there's so many different bits and pieces that show you where the evidence is. You just have to take the time to do it. And then the last step on this is come up with 5 reasons of why you want to believe this new belief. When the why is big enough, the hows figure themselves out. So we finish off with why. Like, why do you want to believe that money's easy to make? Because I can live in a greater abundance. Because I can help more people. Because I'm going to be able to live truer to my purpose. Because I'm going to be able to provide for my family. I'm going to be able to retire my parents and send them around Australia, whatever it might be for you. And that's, you just list the reason of why you want it, and then all of a sudden, if you do that over and over again with all those little beliefs and those little statements that you believe to be true, things will change completely in your life. I guarantee that most of you probably won't do it. But if you can commit to doing this for multiple times a week, with all those little stories that you tell yourself, your life will change so much. You don't understand how much it will change. Now, life has no limitations except the ones you make, which is an amazing quote by Les Brown, and it's so true. Life, it's only the limitations that we put on ourselves. We don't create abundance, we create limitations. So all it is our job is to let go of limitations. And that leads me on to the third and final point. Daily mental conditioning is non-negotiable. Now, I used to just go to a lot of events, like, you know, the Tony Robbins events and DeMartini's events, and they were amazing. And I'd be looking forward to them. I'd go there and things would change, but then I'd do an event and I would change, but then in between, I wasn't really doing anything. I was just kind of doing my reading and stuff, but I wasn't really changing much until I went to another event, and then I'd change again, and then I'd go to another event and change again. But there was so much missed opportunity in between those events that I went. And that's when I started following a guy named Andy Elliott, and he is religious and talks so much about self-developing daily. And so then I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. So now, at least 2 hours every single day, I'm working on myself, I'm self-developing, I'm doing the empowerment tool that I just spoke about. I am doing training videos, I'm practicing speaking, I'm doing tongue twisters, I'm picking words and trying to speak as fast as I can, I'm training that, I'm doing voice exercises. I'm working on myself daily because it's a non-negotiable for me. And I've seen a massive difference. And I want to put it in perspective. If you do something and train every single day, like, let's just use your body because it's a simple example. If you train every single day, in 12 months time, you are going to be different physically. Like, whether you don't change much on your diet, you're still going to have more muscles. Like, if you scanned yourself, training every single day, you're going to be different. Like, you're going to have some changes in your physical body. Now, if you only went once a week, that means you're only going to be training 52 times a year. Now, you're going to probably see little results, but nothing much. Now, think about it. If you train 52 times in a year, and this other person trained 365 times in a year, it's going to take the person to do it once a week, 7 years, to what this person did in 365 days a year. Now, this is how I collapse timeframes. This is how I can get so much done and grow so much, because I'm self-developing daily. Now, some people don't only do things once a week. Some people only do things once a month. Some people only do things once a quarter. So if you did it once a month, that's only 12 times. Do the maths on that. How much is it going to take if you would do things once a month, 12 times a year? How many 12s go into 365 years? Like 20 years nearly. I don't know the exact math. but that's how long it's going to take to do what you can do if you commit to daily, non-negotiable mental conditioning. So just put yourself into it. And success isn't a one-time switch, it's reinforced daily. I'm all for events and I still go to them and I still have those full immersion events, but it's what happens in between them that makes a difference. And I can tell you now that the more that you work on yourself, if you do self-talk exercise, visualization, intention setting, you're doing the personal development, you're doing the decision empowerment grid like I just said and just spoke about, you're doing processes, you're meditating, you're building all those little micro skills that you're training like your muscles, you're gonna be so different. Now you are what you mentally rehearse, you become what you think about. So train yourself and make it a non-negotiable to mentally condition yourself every single day. And I can tell you now, most people don't do this because it's work. But I can tell you now, if you take it on board, I literally gave you a tool that you literally can rewire your brain every single day. Most people won't do it. So be that exception. If you want to be great, which is probably why you're watching this video, then do the things. It's gonna make a big difference. You're working on your mindset is the number one thing you should be doing. Everything else will flow on from that. Now the Buddha said, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you create. So if you want to change your life, you want to change your results, change the way you think and change the way how you feel. Now, let me know what your biggest takeaway was down in the comments down below. Remember, I got you back for life. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. Reach out to me, whatever platform it might be, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. You made it to the end of the video and you are one of the top 1%ers who get to this point. Now, if you're sick and tired of not growing to the level that you want, if you're sick and tired of being the same spot that you were 12 months ago, if you're like, you know what, I've got so much more to offer, but I don't really know how to get there, then if that is you, down below, book in your call with one of my team. Just enter your phone, enter your email, and enter your number. And hey, look, we can't reach you if you enter details that are wrong. So enter your right details. We'll be able to reach out to you. We'll show you the 4 stages that we take men through that's gonna completely rip you out of your current situation and push you in a new direction that where you want to go. I will push you as hard as I can to get that outcome for you because I know how much the life is good on the other side of it when we get out of the shit, when we get onto where we want to go. So click the button and I'll see you on the other side.